Alright guys, I'm here because I found this game very interesting and I wanted to share with you. It's a game between two very strong players. Taro, Spanish player, very popular in the Spanish community and arguably one of the top 4 players of the world for a long time. Always a great player, and he is playing against Chart. Chart, in my opinion, is the best Japanese player is actively playing. Uh, He's kind of a low profile, to be honest, but his results are impressive and he's a very high rated player, very high skilled player. So they're playing here in the map Islands. This game was not a ranked match, but it was actually a tournament game. It was a game, one of the games in the semifinals of the AoC Classic, if I'm not mistaken. A tournament that just happened to in June and July of 2025. So if you're seeing this video in the future, yeah, this is when this was played. Before like the big one patch. And they are playing here as Koreans against the Persians, and those two civilizations are very unique. On Iceland, we are more used to see civilizations such as the Vikings, the Italians, the Armenians, sometimes Dravidians. All of those civils are very special, but Korean itself is also quite good on this map. What can we expect here from Koreans? Well, let's take a look on their bonus so you understand what's going on. And let's go up with the game here. We don't need to wait. There's a lot that I want to see. Okay, so their warships are cost 20% less wood. Also, both their ranged soldiers and infantry, so pikemen, skirmisher, archers, all cost minus 50% wood. So you are going to play Iceland, a map with a limited amount of wood because most of the map or a big portion of the map is actually composed by water. The land itself, well, there are forests, but look of the amount of nothingness on this land. So there's a huge, there are not a lot of wood. If you compare that with a map like Arena or a map like Arabia, Iceland is quite different. When you are approaching like 1 hour mark on Iceland, most of the wood of the map is already gone. So having a civilization that has wood savings as their main eco bonus is quite good. They also collect stone faster, which can be quite useful to drop towers and castles and populate the coast. Uh, Taro is going here for a backdock, so he's avoiding a direct confrontation here against Shard. He's not going for like a front dock or anything, and this back dock is actually providing him a good amount of food. Look at this. This dock has like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 fishes close to it, so you have more than 1,000 food at your disposal, and your opponent, well, he has to come a long way if he wants to punish you. But Chart is doing the same. He's also going for Revi here on the fish. As you can see, he already has like 2 docks. He's about to reach feudal age, and his fish is also in the back. Having the fish in the back means that it's easier to defend. The downside of playing with the back dock is that you're giving your opponent the map control. So if one of those guys tries to land, for example, most of the docks and fish economy is actually in the back, so you are arguably leaving yourself a bit more exposed. They're playing kind of a mind game here. What's common for us to watch on Iceland's games is players actually going for like 3 docks each and go for galleys. Or they just try to dock on the front, and if they see an enemy dock closer, they actually go for the fire galleys instead. But galleys is more common. But we are seeing something very different here. Both are minimizing their investments and they are already towards the castle age. Taro, as you can see, is already making a market. He now made a meal and he's already eating like shorefish. He still has some food on his TC because he lured and there's some spare food, and he's now going for the blacksmith. So he's about to go to the castle age. By the way, in the castle age, not only the Koreans have access to the cheaper fish, but they can also produce a unique ship called Turtle Ship. If you guys don't know, Turtle Ship is a very expensive ship from the Korean with a very high HP, and it's not so popular, and mostly because of its cost. It has been changed over the years, buffed a bit, nerfed in other aspects. Its cost was minimized, but still a very expensive unit. So that is about to click to the castle age, and on the other side, guys, we have Chart with a very unique civ choice, and we haven't discussed that. He also went for a backdock. As you can see, he's patrolling both sides of his docks here with fire galleys, so he's expecting to get attacked, and the fire galleys should buy himself some time. He actually did a barracks and a stable, so he does want to play here with a cavalry landing. And as you can see, he has views forward, he's dropping more scouts, so it's very likely that he will try to play a land map, make a landing here, but already sending some units together. And of course, if he get attacked by archers or something, having a stable is quite helpful, especially when you are Persians. So about the Persians, both their town center and their docks work faster. Exactly. So both TC and docks have more HP and they do work faster. So even if Tatoh, for example, dominates this dock, it takes like twice the time to kill it. So it's twice the time for Chart to keep making like demolition ships, fire galleys. And since their docks work faster, this means that he was able to make these fishes faster, and he can also mass fire galleys faster. Persians do lack a very important technology for the later stages of the game. They do lack this technology that we call Bracer. There we go. It's the last attack for ranged units, last attack and range for the ranged units. So because of that, they are not so great trading on the later stages using units such as the Galleon. So the Galleon, which is one of the main units, cannot be used, which means that he'll probably have to go fire galleys if he plans to do that. But as we can see, he's using his leverage here. He knows that Tatoh has no dock on the front. Tatoh now found and spotted his dock, but the transport ship is already on its way to make a bad landing. He ended up landing a small island here. Small mistake, which was corrected. It could be worse. I know of a famous YouTube content creator that just landed one island like this one time and dropped like 2 or 3 archer ranges before realizing he was in the wrong island. And by the way, the transport ships didn't have this new 20 capacity, so yeah, it was very bad. Anyway, so here is Tatoh, and Tatoh is already expecting to get attacked. He's probably expecting to get attacked by knights. He dropped the monastery, he starts to collect relics, and now, I don't know if you saw, but there is already some light caps going on. By the way, guys, we are seeing here light caps landing from the Persian, and they are fighting with fire ships on the water. This is important because if you fight with galleys, they do require a lot of control, a lot more micro. If you fight like galleys versus fire ship, and you take your eye out of your army for an instance, and the fire ship are able to get closer, it's huge. But right there, they are both fighting fire galleys, eventually adding demolition ships, and there comes Shard trying to drop an archer range. So he opened it up with the light cavalry, which is quite annoying to counter, and now he has access to an archer range, which means that he can produce like cav archers or crossbowmen. I would say cav archers would be a good call here to counter the pikemen. So the monks are not so effective against the light cav. They are actually countered by the light cav, and Tatoh is trying to go for his spearman. He has 2 TCs and is fishing heavily. He's having to fight here on the water, and guys, this is island, a big portion of your economy is actually collecting fish. So if you lose the water, or you lose the fights and you allow your opponent to idle your eco or kill your eco on water, this is huge. And meanwhile, while all of that was happening, what did Tatoh do? He sneaked 2 fire galleys and he killed the fishes from Shard. Yes, while Shard was microing and they were trading here, Tatoh actually was able to sneak here and kill the fish from Shard. Of course, he's Persian, he can now drop more TCs, drop more farms, make more fish, but that was a huge move. Those 2 fire galleys that were there just went all the way to kill it. And now Tatoh is trying to buy himself some time and defend. Since he is Korean, he can get access to freely upgraded guard towers, which are quite powerful. Mangonels itself have some difficulty killing these upgraded towers. Most ships cannot do this because it's quite expensive, so unless you have a huge advantage, you cannot do a proper guard tower defense. But right here, he killed the enemy fish, he saved his fish, he moved his fish from the bottom side here towards the left and is adding new docks to make use of it. He's just making small trades against the enemy fire galley, but he's still suffering a bit on his own. This map is quite open, right? It's a bit hard to wall. So the cavalry are just running in circles and sniping off villagers. Taro now has a monk, he also has some scorpion. Scorpion closer to the TC range can be a great unit to defend. It's harder to dodge than a mangonel and has pass-through damage, which means that it can reach multiple units. Anyway, the fish is still working here for Taro, who has 2 town centers, but he's under a lot of pressure from the Persian, who is now making more archer ranges, siege workshop, and we can see already that he's queuing both cav archers, mangonels, and still making fire ship. The downside here for Shard, despite having good economy, is that he lost his fish. Let's take a look on the view count. It's 53 against 54. Both have 2 town centers, so they are in a close scenario there. It's not like Shard has gave up on the water, so it's not like Taro can just drop new docks and fish whatever he wants. He actually has more fire galleys than Taro. But finishing off a game with fire galley only is very difficult, because even if you are winning a fight, 1 or 2 demolition ships can change the course of history here. For example, let's say the chart has like 6 fire galleys attacking this dock and Taro only has 3 fire ships to defend. 1 good demolition shot and the 3 can suddenly fight back against the 6 fire ships, so it's a very complicated balance. And there you have Taro collecting the trying to collect the relics. I just heard a relic. There he goes. But Persians there raiding. Ooh, he saved the monk on the last shot. His fish got spotted, but he has a fire galley here to help himself defend. Making more scorpions. Now he has 3 TCs, a very defensive game. Persian have no leverage if they try to take this to Imperial Age, especially on water, but playing hybrid is great for the Persian, while their TCs and docks are working faster. 3rd TC also for Charles, trying to collect this golden stone. As you can see, he's constantly producing army. Taro is constantly producing fire galleys as well. There comes 2 fire galleys from Shard. Will he be able to take down this fish? If he does, things are actually gonna be quite in an equal way. But no, Taro did his some of his own fire galleys here, and he's trying to fight back. But fire ships take down fish quite fast, and half of Taro's fish, actually most of his fish, all of it, was actually killed on by those 2 fire galleys. So it's a very fragile part of your economy. Now he's getting pushed by mangonels and he has to defend the rocket cart. They have similar stats, guys, but I'll be honest, I like the rocket cart a bit more. Just a small preference. He's trying to drop a tower. If he drops a tower that shields this town center, it means that it's gonna be very difficult for the rocket carts, for the mangonels to achieve some success. I'd say that you need at least 3 to 4 mangonels to be able to properly siege a guard tower, and with a villager repairing in the back, so it's quite difficult to make this kind of push successful. As you can see, Taro is not underestimating the pushes from his enemy at all. So by the time Chart started to push here on the left, he already added a 2nd siege workshop. Yeah, exactly. So he's defending here with 2 siege workshops. Now he has 3 TCs. He's heavy on the stone. This map is very heavy on stone, right? We have 1, 2, 3 different stone piles here for Taro. That's great to use as Korean. Is it the same for Chart? I hope so. There it is. This is his 3rd stone. And those towers are also helpful and will be helpful later to help defending the water, because its range is going to be increased. And if you go for the Korean unique technology, which is called, if I'm not mistaken, Yupseong, there it is, you are actually going to gain extra 2 range from your towers, which means that it's quite difficult to move around the Korean base or even around the Korean shoreline when you have these towers shooting. Taro has only 1 fish. Chart has lost his fish as well, but both have some very heavy ecos here. Look at Chart's economy on land, guys. 40 farms already. Remember that those are Persian TC, so they are working actually 15% faster than a regular TC, which is helpful for him to surpass Tato's in the view count. Tato's now adding a defensive castle. This defensive castle shield his gold, and his main base is placed very centered here on his base, very conservative castle, no problem with that. But Chart is already on the way now to Imperial Age. So Shark's on the way to Imperial Age as the Persians. Remember that getting faster to Imperial Age might allow him to play fast fire if he wants to keep the water, or to start pushing his enemy here on the land. But he only has like one build, so it's not like he's going to successfully drop a castle without bringing like more villagers to attack the Korean. And attack the Korean is not so easy. There are towers, castles, monks, siege, a lot of stuff here. On the other side we have here Tatoh, who's developing his economy, a bit behind on the upgrades, just got a wheelbarrow right now. Has rocket carts, defending from the mangoes, and is now trying to recover the shoreline by adding towers and also docks out here. Quite an interesting game, even a few wagons, powerful unit. They already received the armor upgrade for free, so they are kind of a great counter to ranged units such as Crossbowmen, Cav Archers, because of its high stats, and also it has like 9 base attack for a ranged unit, and that's a lot. There comes Tatoh with a forward tower, trying to cover all that area and stop the push from Persians from happening. But ooh, he just got pushed back here by Chart. Monks, Cav Archers, Mangonel. If he gets like 2 successful conversions, he can actually make this work. Here are the monks trying to work in their way. 1 conversion, but only a single conversion. Now there's no chance for this army to do... Oh! 2 conversions, still. Lost the Mangonel, about to lose the Monk. The tower is up, so this means that the push here on the left is probably not gonna succeed. Even being on Imperial Age is not gonna do wonders here for Shard if he's under these towers. Look at all those circles here. This is all the area that Tatoh is currently covering, but now he is about to upgrade Ilpseong. He is on the way to Imperial Age, but he can already increase the range of his towers using the castle. So the range is gonna jump here, and it has already increased. He has a total of 8+3 range, and he's still lacking both Bodkin Arrow and Bracer, which means that he can still increase its attack and also its range by 2. Crazy, right? But there comes Shard, another landing. So he landed on the left, but it seems that the Tatoh has stopped him, and now he's landing on the right. Tatoh is trying to counter his castle with a Korean castle. Does Korean build castle faster? I don't know if that's the thing here anymore. I don't recall that. No, I think that's the Sicilian stuff. There was some patch where they were actually building both towers and castles faster, and oh my, that was crazy OP. Korean Thrush became insta-meta. So yeah, they nerfed that. Oh, the towers just nerfed that, and look at the Watermap. Look at Chart's position. He has fast fire ship, that's his unit to go on Imperial Age, and he's actually running around Tato's island. He has a landing on the left, so he's occupying all these territories which are not free for Tatoh to do. Even with the towers, he can still annoy Tatoh a lot. And he has now this castle on the right side. He's already dropping trebuchets, and he is going for Hussar with like 50 farms. It means the Chart can still produce like a lot of Hussars. He can even drop more stables, which is what he's doing right now. And he's attacking with both trebuchets and Hussar. Hard to defend, very hard. And on the other side, Tatoh is counter-landing. He's trying to occupy the area on top of Chart's island, making this very interesting. Chart's trying to stop him and defend using a castle to block Tato's advance here. Also with a castle he can be able to drop trebuchets and clean out those towers. But Tatoh is trying to advance, use his own keep towers and try to deny the enemy from dropping the castle, but that's a bit too late because Shard did have enough views to make the castle go up. Meanwhile, we can see that the shark is raiding with the Russar. He has the fire ship giving support on the closer to the shoreline. So even those pikemen are having some difficulties to chase down the Russar, but the towers, man. Yeah, the towers are pretty strong. Does he have ballistic already? Let's take a look. He does. Does he have bracer already? No, not yet. Another castle from Tatoh. He's trying to stop the advance from Chart. He's getting surrounded in his own island. Trebuchets are shooting non-stop. He's about now to make more pikemen, bringing on trebuchets. There are Hussars trying to find targets here to raid everywhere, but they are having some difficulties due to the amount of towers available. The push on Chart's island, the landing is actually failing. There is siege here taking down the towers, there are Hussars taking down the bills, and there isn't much that Tatoh can do about it. He's bringing out Bomber Cannon in an attempt to snipe the trebuchets. He lost another castle, his population is quite low, he's below 150 population while Chart is aiming to get popped here. He's like 15 popped from getting fully populated, so this looks very good for Chart. Making this a hybrid game and not a water game is giving him so much leverage. The cannon got striked, which was very unlucky here by Tatoh. The trebuchets are cleaning out everything, but he now has he upgraded halberdier. Remember that those halberds are cheaper, so he's using only 13 wood, if I'm not mistaken. Let me check. Yeah, only 13 wood is paid off here to make a spearman, a halberdier. He has more than 1,000, so that's not a big deal. The problem is the siege. It's continuing, and now we can see, thanks to this outpost, that Chart is now dropping archer ranges. So in order to support his Hussar, he's making skirmishers. As I said, these skirmishers are like the last upgrade. They do not have bracer, but still they are skirmishers, so in theory they should be a good counter to both halbs and the wagons. He's advancing here, new tower, wood line. Now he's about to upgrade bracer, so his towers are increasing in range. Uh-oh, another bomber cannon sniped down by the Hussars. That was truly bad. Tatoh's depending on those bomber cannons to help himself stopping this push. Hussars are eventually dying now, because there are both halbs and towers. Left side seems to be clear, because there's no villager making anything else. It's surrounded by towers. Keep towers now with 8+5 range. A total of 13 range, that's insane. Uh-oh. But the bomber cannons are getting sniped. Skirmishers are not yet in a big number, but they are already being annoying enough. Tatoh has no unit that can go there and dive the castle without dying here to snipe the traps. His halberdiers only have 1 armor so far. His eco is very limited, and he's actually focusing here on bomber cannons. Chart seems to be wasting his Hussars, but he was able to put a lot of pressure on Tatoh, and we can see that he is actually with full population here. He's using all of his wood, he's farming Reveille, and remember, he's farming Reveille. He has all the upgrades here, even crop rotation, so his farms are quite effective. Meanwhile, Tatoh, he does have like 34 farms, around 30 to 35 villagers working, and he's trying to go for water. Another keep tower. He's spamming towers, making it very difficult for Chart to punish him with raids and water as well. Meanwhile, we have a big bag of halberdiers, trying to delay those Hussars, trying to protect the bomber cannons. A few wagons are still around. Bomber cannons did a good shot. Ooh, nice dodge here by Chart. So that's it. Tatoh is trying to hold off, but getting raided. Look how effective those towers are. Does he have arrow list? No. These towers are not yet on their fullest potential. They can still be upgraded to get more damage done. But so far, they are great tools here to hide the wheels, so that the towers can kill the Hussars with more efficiency while also shielding the villagers. Very difficult to make a successful raid here against a Korean once it gets on this stage. I personally like the Civ pretty much. And here's Tatoh advancing, also dropping a keep tower. Look the range of this keep tower. He can range any unit that is even closer to the castle, so it's not like he needs to make more units. As long as this tower is up, he would just be delivering damage. And he's pushing the castle here with 4 bombard cannons. Shard seems to be attempting a defense here using the trebuchets from behind the castle, but this might be just too late because those bombard cannons, guys, also are upgraded with siege engineers, another university technology which increases 1 range but a lot of damage against buildings. That's a must here if you have and you want to push using the cannons. Stars are not fighting much. Tatoh cannon job is great. He's not only sniping the enemy bombard cannons, but he's using the fact that he's on his mainland to repair his bombard cannons whenever they got some injury. Look at the stars. They're not finding anything to kill here. Things are quite difficult. The towers are gonna deal with those guys. That's not a problem. And it seems that the push is under control. So yes, Tatoh has reclaimed back his mainland. The left has been cleaned, and now the right is about to get cleaned as well. There's only a few army left, no siege. The siege workshop is also dying. There's a lot of wagons, there's a lot of help. So soon he's gonna take over all that area and reclaim back this wood, which is quite important. Let's advance a bit and look at this. He's always advancing and using towers to control the map. This is peak Korean game. Only some spare units here, some skirmishers try to survive. This tower, man, look the range that it covers. He's also adding a few hand cannoneers which have more bonus here, more damage against infantry, and can also be annoying to snipe the cannons, but yeah. Not a chance, you are not even gonna get close to those cannons. Now it's time to go back to the water. If land is safe, the fight should be on water. And as you can see, Shard has his fast fire ships, and he knows that Tatoh is trying to claim back the water, and he's already bringing an elite cannon galleon. The classic siege ship here from Age of Empires, it has like 15 range. It only has less range than a trebuchet. It's crazy range here for this unit, and it has bonus versus buildings, so whenever it hits, it deals a huge damage. Despite showing only 60 attack, it has a bonus versus buildings, so similar to a siege. The docks are going down. It's not like Tatoh is even having a shot to go making it back to water. So we can see here 6 cannon galleons, a lot of fire, a lot of fast fires. Shark didn't notice, but he's actually getting houses here because he did build some houses on Tatoh's base. So this is actually nerfing him a bit. And what's Tatoh doing? He's trying to go for the galleons. Galleons, you can lose in the 1v1 to the fast fire, but once you mass the galleons and you also keep them closer to the towers like they are right now, these towers are actually going to deliver a lot of damage. They are now upgraded with arrow list. They are dealing 8+7 attack and have multiple shots being fired because they have villagers inside. So soon Tatoh was able here to remake his fleet. Now he has a fleet of galleons. And remember, he does have access to Bracer, while Shark does not. Shark's trying to take control over the main, over the neutral island here, which has both wood and gold at his disposal. By the way, guys, Tatoh is paying only 58 wood on these galleons, so they are quite cheap, and that's great on this stage of the game because look at his wood lines. Left wood lines are about to be over. Center wood lines are no more, and he's now eating the right wood lines. So wood, guys, we are at 54 minutes, and Tatoh's wood is about to get over. It's not going to stand another 10 minutes on this at this rate. Bombard cannons, towers, multiple units supporting so that the fast fires cannot find good shots. So Shark has the map control, and look at his eco. More than 8,000 food on his pocket, but look at his wood. There's no more wood on the back of his land. There's only this wood at the front and these ones here on the left that are about to get over. Well, it makes sense. Shard had more villagers during most of the game, and he's using a lot of wood. Look at the amount of farms. He's keeping more than 50 farms active on this stage. He's now upgrading guilds, so he's probably planning on trade some of this food for gold, maybe for wood, maybe for another resource. And what's Taro doing? He's landing the other neutral island. Doing now a keep tower, this neutral island has access to both wood and stone. And oh, I didn't mention, but remember the amount of stables, archer ranges and other buildings that Chart just did here on Taro's base? Well, that also costs wood. The Galleons are advancing, but they are still getting shot by the castle. That's a great mechanic here by Taro, but still difficult. And oh, there comes another landing here from Chart. This time he's landing, making a castle, but he also brings his ranged units, the hand cannoneers and a few skirmishers that survive it. Hand cannoneers are a great counter to infantry, so despite having like more than 20 infantry at his disposal, all of this infantry is melting towards these units, and even with few views, Chart's being able to make the castle, but no, there's a tower, and this tower is actually denying the castle from being completed, and this just gave enough time for Taro to bring his ship and defend. So yeah, on this stage of the game it's very difficult to get a landing, especially against a guy who has towers over all of his island. So that's quite a challenge for Shard to make this landing work. Very challenging. And there goes Taro, a lot of views. He's transporting his bomber cannons. It seems that his plan is to transport the bomber cannons to this part of the island so that he can push the enemy castle. Is that gonna work? I don't know. We're about to find out. He still has his wood left. What about Shard? Oh my goodness. Shard has banked up all of the wood. This is the last wood available on his base. He has almost 10k food. That's insane. And Taro is trying to push the castle using these recently landed bomber cannons. There comes the cannon galleons. They're gonna try to shoot the cannons, but that was a good dodge for Taro. It's a good dodge here with the cannons, and he's about to kill the castle. A few more shots and this castle will go down. The castle is down, which means that now the galleons can advance. That's a huge navy by Taro. The problem here is the quality, of course. The fast fire can kill like multiple galleons, but he's fighting under the towers. I mean, in order to fight against these galleons, he is under 1, 2, 3 keep tower shooting non-stop. And there's also the bomber cannons, which can actually give a few shots here and make some damage towards the naval units as well. So this is quite difficult for Shard, but there he comes with another landing. This time he did bring a lot more villagers, and he's going for annulling. He's landing on the correct part of the island. He's landing right here where there was Taro's wood. So this can actually buy himself some problems. And he's keeping up, guys. He's keeping up. Castles are shooting. He's now spamming Rusar. He already has upgraded his ranged units. He can even try to go for like Kevin the Iron Crossbow. He did upgrade it. The only thing is, I don't know how he's gonna afford those units, since they actually cost more wood. Taro's trying to defend himself, but it seems like the number of buildings is increasing at a very fast rate. There are more than 7 stables, 8 stables, 5 archer ranges, castles producing trebuchets, the towers are going down. So Shard did lose the water here to Taro, and is about to get his wood soon going to stop being collected here because of the galleons, but he's now able to push. So this, guys, is the end game. We are at 1 hour game on island. Shard has a huge bank of food, so he can keep making those units for a long time. But the problem is, he's not gonna have enough wood to try, for example, a comeback on water. He totally cannot do it. He has no villagers collecting wood. Right now he's about to get back to the wood, but this is the only wood the Shard has left. So he's against the clock. He needs to finish the game. He needs to clean out Tatoh using all these accident food resources that he accumulated during the game before Tatoh actually get access to the center resources or try to counterland him. Let's see who's gonna succeed here. Tatoh's also being able to defend this last wood using his galleon. It's difficult to go there and kill those views if there are galleons protecting it. He brings back his bombard cannons. That's a great siege control. Those bombard cannons were there on the first siege. Those bombard cannons were there on this island. They were also here to drop to kill the castle, and now they're back home. He's taking such a good care of these units. And Tatoh feels like the water is not going to be taken out from him. He has like a huge navy, man. Look at that. He has more than 60 ships. That's enough to be said. He has way more ships than he needs. It's not like Shard is gonna make a comeback on water. The problem here is really the land. Despite having all the towers, it's not like they are protecting much, right? They're just protecting the farmers because there's no more wood being collected. And he's getting pushed. With all these units, Shard is probably gonna be able to clean most of this land. Tatoh's trying to mass more halbs now. Such a nice game. The galleons are coming here and trying to surround everything. They're trying to get these woodcutters from Shard. That was a great play. The castle is down because since Tatoh has the water advantage, now he was the one making some elite cannon galleons to help himself clean the push. Well, he has a long way to clean this push because killing the castle is just the beginning. There are a lot of trebuchet, there are a lot of archer ranges, Shard's still advancing and producing more buildings there. And the trebuchets, they just did what they needed. They killed the castle, which was the strongest, the stronghold from Tatoh, right? So now the units are swarming this mainland. The DC is going down. There are still 2 trebuchets which are far away from the coast, so even the cannon galleons cannot reach them. Damn. This looks like a disaster, and it does look like a disaster for both players. Tatoh's getting pushed here. His resources are on the limit. He collected all the wood he could. There's only a small portion of wood left, and it's not under his total, under his full control. And guys, look at Shard's economy. He still has more than 6k food to use and spend units. So making all those farms, was it worth or was it not? I don't know. They still have to figure that out. Now he's killing the keep towers. Multiple at the same time using the trebuchets. Tatoh's trying to mass and remake his army from the back here. He's now collecting the gold from the center, the wood from the center, so he still has some extra resources to use. That can make it like a huge difference. He's making a bombard cannon. This was the key unit for the to defend the first siege, but they are just getting gravely outnumbered there. Look at this bombard cannon. Nah, it was like 1 or 2 tiles away from the halbs. It just melted to the enemy army. Push continues, the trebuchets are still advancing, Tatoh is losing like all of his base. Only less than 60 bills. Population is going down. These buildings are going to die, but it doesn't matter. Shard has made new ones here in the center. New stables, new archer ranges, so he will be able to keep this army count and this army production for a while. Look at his quill. He has more than 8 Hussars quilled in each of the stables. There's plenty of army that he can still make. Another tower about to go down. Now Tatoh is bringing the halbs. They're trying to protect this bombard cannon. Good job. And the bombard cannons are still effective against these ranged units without bracer. Cannon galleons are still an issue. Tatoh cannot get close, Shard cannot get close to the shore, while Tatoh can feel safe here, closer to the shore. And he's now counter-landing Shard. That's interesting. He's getting attacked here, but he actually found the space to drop a transport ship and start making towers over Shard space. So he's now surrounding all of the farmers left from Shard here using his towers. His tower rushing at 1 hour and 15 while his base is falling down. He's trying to buy time as villagers on the towers. The Hussars cannot get too close to the hubs without melting. He's counter-attacking. Uh-oh, Shard's now using views to keep this to try and take these towers down. And of course, what else would he do with these views? There's no more wood to be collected. Only some spare farms. So he's trying to counter the push here. This game is becoming more and more interesting as time goes. And what else is going on here? Tatoh is now starting to fish. Yes, guys, you didn't hear me wrong. He's now going for the fish. He added some docks. He's now getting the fish from the center. There are still plenty of food resources to be collected here on the map, huh? All of these fish. And that's what he's going for. And Shard still diving in him. Trying to dive on the hubs. Bomber cannons are still shooting. That is a good placement for the halberdiers, shielding the bomber cannons from the Hussars. All the 3 bomber cannons are still alive. They're still shooting. That was a great fight. It seems like Shard couldn't snipe down the traps, and he's getting pushed back here by cheaper hubs and bomber cannons. The towers, well, they are being very annoying here for Shard. Tatoh army is now getting closer in size to Shards because there's no more way for Shards to keep making units such as the Skirmisher or the Crossbowman, which cost wood. Murder rolls researched. What a crazy stuff we're seeing. Tatoh army is wood dependent, but he still has like a lot more wood thanks to the wood savings from the Koreans, and he never invested into some crazy farm equal like Shard, like 60 farm. So in Island, if you do not invest so much in farms, you can actually get rewarded by it. And this is what's happening here. Now Tatoh is collecting a lot of food resources from the sea. There's no way for Shard to counter-attack the sea because he has no wood available. He could actually push the land, but he did, and it didn't finish off the game. Despite killing all the farming equal from Tatoh, he still had some towers and was able to make a hold here, an heroic hold here, using some hubs, bomber cannons, and now he's even adding up some elite skirmishers of himself to push Shard back. So yes, guys, after all of that aggression, it feels like the gas is over, and Shard gives up. Very interesting game, right? Did you ever saw that island game being won by the guy that saved more wood? I love that game. I love this kind of game. I think it's very interesting. It shows how important it is to fight for each one of the wood lines. I guess that the guy with the final wood line would win this matchup. And in this scenario, it was Tatoh, thanks to the boats from the Koreans, the towers, and his defensive play. So Siege, Halbs, Monks, a lot of towers. A great example of Korean defense. Persian, not so useful on island when fighting water, but great for this landing and hybrid approach like Shard just did. Despite all of his equal approach, he couldn't finish off the game. That was an insane army control by Tatoh especially, and that was it, guys. Small look here on the resources. KD was way in favor of Tatoh. He ended up with 120 army here in the end. Great economy here by Shard. Look at that. He had twice the amount of food that Tatoh did, and he even collected more wood, guys. But here's the thing, in order to collect all this food, he did invest a big portion of this wood line into farms and did a lot of buildings, and thanks to that, and also his units being a bit more expensive, he ended up not having enough to fight back against Tatoh. So side-wise, both players had a similar number of relics, so it didn't make a lot of difference. Shard ended up making more castles, which were all taken down. What Tatoh did only 2 castles, it seems, but he was actually spamming towers all the time. Hope you guys enjoyed it. This was a very fun game for me to watch and rewatch with you.